be on the road now, doing shows now. White bitch know that cold now, I tell her no now. Mommy tell me slow down, I'm on a roll now.
What's good, guys? It's your boy JP, and we back with another podcast. And this time I got my special guest. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Tell me your age, your name, and what you like to do.
It's your boy Jordan, 21 years old. I like to play football on occasional weekends.
Okay. Anyways, let's first get into how you been, bro. Actually, on a real tip though, how you been?
Man's just been chilling, working and shit, honestly. Because so much you can do in this time other than just work and save bread.
So
what about you, though? A man like me? Construction, like just doing asphalt.
Okay. Me, I just been I used to work nights. I just left my job I stopped working nights last night, so cancel that out, and now I just work days. Just be doing obviously the YouTube. I've been working on. I've been getting my workout supplements. You know what I mean? Trying to work out, trying to get my body right, trying to not be a fat ass nigga no more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I gotta change it up. You know what I'm saying? I've been rocking this style, this fat nigga style for a while. So I'm like, all right, let me try the skinny nigga style, see how it works out. If I don't like it, I'm gonna go back to the fat nigga style. Cause I'm like, yo, fuck you niggas. But anyways. Cause I'm like, yo, this shit not working for me. I'm out of there.
Nah, honestly, being skinny, fam, you just get cold quickly. That's about the only difference.
I'm trying to be skinny. I don't want to be a skinny stick man out here, bro. Cause just imagine all the skinny. Remember back in middle school. Remember back in high school. You see those skinny mans walking through the hallway, just bouncing them out the way, and they're fling them.
You mean Michael Baker?
Yeah, skinny man's getting fling.
He was built different.
He was built different.
But the man got these though out of nowhere.
No, yeah, see, he's bigger now, but there's certain...
Bigger now, the man's swole now, what?
Oh, he's bigger now.
Can't even say bigger now, the man's swole.
I haven't seen him now. I was gonna say he's bigger now on fire. Anyway, so... Yo. He's bigger now, bro.
This guy's crazy.
But I haven't seen him now. I have to add him on Instagram. I have to give him his Instagram after this. But, alright, let's get into the first question. So, how was your childhood growing up? So, go in detail, not because we obviously know the school life, so cancel out school. Your parents, your mom, your dad, your brothers. How was life growing up from when you was a little kid? You know what I mean? Growing up, you walk into the store, mom, can I get this? Granola bar in the store, and you store that shit everything from then till now.
Honestly, my childhood growing up was it was funny in a way because obviously I grew up with a strict dad, but a lenient mom. But for the most part, till I was about 11, I was living with both my parents, and then at that point they split up by grade 6. So it was obviously a big impact in the life, but it wasn't too bad because you get 2 birthdays, and that's always cool. But absolutely, but it was cool and all for a bit, but then you had to try to balance family life with football games, plus just homework and everything in general. Obviously minus school, but just doing extracurriculars, and obviously making time for friends and everything. So you balance your life because you always had to try to do workouts after school, so that cut into a lot of time.
Which high school did you go to? Because we didn't go to the same.
I went to Joan of Arc.
Let's go to the Blessed High School, bro.
I don't know about Blessed, but
so
it was a school.
So how was your high school? How was that? Okay, let's get into your high school life. So your younger life, your parents were split up. Things were a little bit more difficult balancing all that. We're gonna get into that in a second, but right now, how was your high school life? Did you get? I don't think you was the type of nigga to get bullied. I'm not gonna say that.
Definitely not. Didn't get bullied.
Or even earlier stage, you didn't get no bullied. Okay, so I said I was the bully.
Not even. I was just cool with everyone.
Yeah,
I was just a neutral party. Yeah. Hey, just neutral. I'm not beefing nobody. I'm there to just go to school, kick it with the man them, and just play sports. I don't see all that room for the extra drama shit. It's not really it. Now, mind you, if a man says there's a beef after school and I look over, I'm gonna see it's there. Obviously, I'm gonna go where the drama's at.
I said, yo, I see that beef from afar.
Absolutely, you gotta see what's going on, who's getting killed. Not just not gonna show up and the man tell you yesterday, yo, you missed this. I'm like, yo, nah, I'm gonna see it with my own eyes.
Gotta be there. Nah, I feel you. But so how was like the high school life from grade 9 to grade 12? Like, did you know? Like, did anyone? Because I don't know. Did anyone go to St. Joan of Arc after Edenwood? I don't know who went there, so I wouldn't know. Or did you have to make? Did you have to start out fresh and make new friends? Like,
it was practically like fresh. I knew one guy there because I played football with him, my boy Eddie. But outside of that, it was relatively pretty fresh for the most part. There was like one guy who was like a year older, because I also knew him from football as well. So that's like 2 people out of the school. And then it kind of had to go from scratch from there.
So how was grade like? Which year was your best year? And like, explain each year. How was the grade 9, 10, 11? Because for me personally, grade 9 was it was ass. It was so ass. And then after like grade 10 it started to actually pick up like at the end it started to pick up a tiny bit. Then grade 11, that's when it kind of picked up. And then as soon as you hit to grade 12, that's when the shit like I don't know, it starts fluctuating like crazy. But then after
you get because you start to understand the system of the school and how everything works.
But it's like too late now. It's like I wish I understood this like grade 9. I would have been finessing, but.
Honestly, I wasn't stressing about grade 9 too heavy. Like obviously, grade 9 was just me. That was like my fuck around year. And then like grade 10, I was like, yeah, let me pick up the grades a little bit. Then grade 11 and 12, I was like, all right, I got to make sure I got all my grades popping in case I want to go to school. Or I just want to have good grades just because I don't want to be failing no classes.
Yeah, you just want to have accomplishments. But hold on, my mom's vacuum outside. I can hear the vacuum outside my room. They're busting your room and they just keep vacuuming like.
And they know business. You're like, yo, man's around a thing. They're like, I don't care. Mute the mic. And you're like, damn.
I can't like that. Like especially when you're playing a game. I can't pause this. I literally can't pause it. It can't be paused.
Fam, I was running 2K before this podcast, eh?
This guy's telling me his mom kid.
Told me to pause the game and said, pardon me?
Pardon me? Yo, my goodness.
It's not possible. I can't pause.
Even when
you can't pause the next man's Wi-Fi, fam.
That's what I'm...
You can't. Like, if I could, I would.
Unless you're playing like, was it My Player? Unless you're playing My Player, you can pause?
Yeah, that's like the My Career, you can pause. Or you're playing like Play Now online. That's about the only other time you can pause. Or My Team.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Outside of that, now you're screwed.
You can't really do anything about that. But, okay, so what was your best year? Like, which year was your best year in high school?
Honestly, I'd say grade 12.
Grade 12? How was that?
Because it was my year to get all my grades going. Kind of was doing football. Didn't really do it because I hurt my shoulder. Kind of tweaked it so I was out for the season. So I was just kind of vibing with school and just enjoyed my last year of school before going out into like the real world, even attempting to do like college, uni. Just a different feel for everything. So.
Okay. So like so for the people who don't know, like, or people who are still in school, like, what's the difference? Like, when the teachers tell you like, oh, the real world is different from the school life, like do you think it was different like since now you're out of school, you know what I mean, like obviously facing the real world, like what's the difference to you?
Honestly, it's just you just pick up more responsibilities. That's about it. So now instead of your parents going and saying, oh, I'll pay for your phone bills, your little meals, now you're paying for that on your own.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to work more. There's less time for friends and more you have to work and like plan around your work schedule.
So is this true?
And sometimes
I was gonna ask you real quick. So outside, so is it true that as soon as you leave high school or middle school, you lose all your friends?
It depends on how, like, if you guys end up going to the same school or you kind of have the same friend group, so that's somehow how people keep in contact. But sometimes when it comes to friend groups, like if they're really your niggas, they won't They're not gonna call you 24/7. That's a given. Like no one is gonna call you 24/7 unless they, even unless they're your wife or your girlfriend. Those are the only people that are gonna be calling you 24/7. But realistically, your real friends will call up and check up on you like once or twice during a week, make sure you're good, or attempt to make plans. You know, like they help you to strive to push more. If they're not really doing that, then they're really never really your friends from the start.
Okay, I feel that. Yeah, that 100% fact.
Okay. Like that's what that's like I think for like friendships. Like obviously you do your dumb shit, you shoot the shit, you're chilling, but like if you're not checking up, making sure like my mental health is good, like I'm good, like my family life good, are you really like my brethren like that, or are you just an like accomplice, just someone that's just passing by?
Just an acquaintance, yeah, just an acquaintance right here. But I feel that goes in hard still. But so let me let's go back to the thing you said before. When your parents split up at 11 years old, how was that? Like, how did that affect you? How did that affect your two? You have two other brothers,
honestly,
right? Two?
I have two brothers and a younger sister.
Okay. That's packed house, 4 people. Okay. So like, how did that affect all 4 of you guys?
It was tough because you were stuck between a point of trying to keep both parents at peace. So you're trying to make sure you're not favoriting one more than the other. So like, okay, I want to spend like a week here and a week there.
Also,
but sometimes
trying to keep them at peace.
Like they were like trying to make shit work, but it's like obviously there's like bittersweet between them at the time, so couldn't really do much. So you're just there trying to keep the peace, just trying to move on like it didn't happen per se. Like obviously you know it happened, but you're not trying to dwell on it. Because obviously dwelling on like, oh, them splitting up, it's not going to change anything. You kind of have to learn to adjust to the situation.
So when you were younger, you adapted to that very quickly, or you were affected?
Like relatively quickly. I was just like, okay. Obviously, it was annoying that I had to like pick whose house I wanted to go live at and go to school with. Because it's like you don't want to have to pick like, oh, I want to either live Mississauga or Brampton or Toronto. You're not trying to pick between those locations. You're trying to be in the crib with your dukes and say hello, see him at the same time. But honestly, it wasn't that bad considering like both parents put in the effort to make the situation work as much as possible. So it was a lot of family growth just individually for that situation from like 2012 till current day.
So who did you decide to live with?
I decided to live with my dad just because a boy living with his dad is kind of like, you know, you have to have not necessarily that your dad can teach you more sometimes, but obviously you still need to have your mother around you just as much, because having your mother, she shows you how to treat a woman, how you're supposed to carry yourself when you're around another woman, and like just simple characteristics that you're supposed to pick up from your mom, and like also just basic boy traits to pick up from your dad. Like they teach you things that you're supposed to know in life.
So where did they live in the same city or no?
Nah, for the most part they did. Like they were both in Saga, and then my mom temporarily went to Brampton for a couple months, and then after she left Brampton, she went to Hamilton, which is where I'm at now.
Okay. So, because I was gonna say like, especially in the early school life and college and choosing all that stuff. If let's say your mom lived in Toronto, your dad lived in Mississauga. Like, if you chose to live with your mom or your dad, it really would have altered your whole life. Like in the friends you made,
basically, yeah.
And it's like that's actually a big decision, but I mean, personally,
because I just chose the area that I was most comfortable with. Like, I'm not trying to go outside of where I'm at. Like, obviously, I'm going to choose a place where I was born and raised.
Okay.
So, like, obviously, I did that, but then I chose to, you know what? Let me go get new scenery, expand my friend group, potentially meet, like, cool-ass niggas, and just new people and just new opportunities.
So, do you have friends at your mom's side and your dad's side? Like, you have kind of, like, people you meet up with in each area?
Yeah, like if I'm in Hamilton, I have people I kick it with here on the regular, and if I'm in Saga, I have I just a couple of people I normally kick it with, like my boy Eddie, my boy Jaden, just a couple of people.
So
my friend group's not vast. Like I can probably count like one or two hands how many people I'm like really close with.
So in a sense, where you kind of, so like how like did you like that dynamic? Because for me personally, I mean, I didn't really have a choice. It's like you're going with your mom straight up. You know, most people just go straight up with their mom. Like, you know, what I mean, that you got a choice. That's actually the first time I heard that. I never knew you got a choice like that. Cause
Yeah, but it was like a on the spot pick. It's like when they're like, oh, my mom's like, oh, I'm leaving. And it's either I had to pick to leave with my mom or my dad. So I was like, right now, I'm like, I don't want to leave the house that I've been growing up in or the neighborhood I'm in. So I'm like, I'm going to have to stay here. I've already started school in the area. I'm not trying to further my journey to go to school. So I was thinking more in terms of what was easier for me when it came to school and what was just going to be easier for the situation in the long run.
So do you still commute now back and forth or no?
Between Saga and Hamilton, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're at your mom's now. So
I live at my mom's, but I'll go on like an occasional like weekends here and there, go to visit my dad.
Oh, okay. So now you moved to you're staying with your mom full time and then going to your dad sometime. Okay. So, in a sense, how did your siblings deal with it? Because obviously you dealt with it a level-headed and for like.
I wouldn't say level-headed, but it was just kind of like you had to be a little more level-headed than your younger. You have to than your younger siblings, obviously.
I mean, you have
obviously it was. I have an older brother, but again, in that time, he was doing his own thing. Like he was off for college, uni. Like he had his own life, so we're not gonna. So he was there, but he was like helping from long distance, for the most part. So like when man's needed like to talk, when my parents are either bickering over the phone or just doing dumb shit, either I would go call him or I'd just go outside and chill with my niggas and just go either go shoot the shit, go grab food, or go run ball, play football, just basic stuff like that, just to kind of pass the time and ease the situation. Because obviously, people take it my way of doing things as like, oh, yeah, I'm running from the situation. No, I'm just learning. I'm like, me crying about the situation and really dwelling on it's not going to do anything. Obviously, I want to talk about the situation, but being there crying and yelling, it's not going to do anything.
So
it's just let the situation simmer down, and then once everyone's level-headed, then you can talk about the situation.
Okay. So you had
which kind of came later down the road when like I left to come here. Like that's when I could really have those talks with my dad.
So
because once you're under his house, under that household, your opinion is kind of not muted completely, but it's like his say is because that person's like, you're under my roof, my rules. You get that spiel like how parents normally are. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold my tongue. Obviously, if I don't like the way he's doing things, I'm gonna say something. But for the most part, I allowed it. Because obviously not trying to stir up shit.
When you're at there's obviously, so you walk to the two different houses, there are different rules. So how you act to your dad, you can't act like that at your mom's.
No, how I act to my dad's, I can act to my mom's. It's just like because my dad became more lenient over the years, but definitely from the beginning he was more aggressive when it came to like getting beatings. But it wasn't like abuse to say. It was just like, you know, black parents normally beat their kids, so he would beat. Obviously, I get beatings, but now as I got older, it stopped.
Yeah, it stops. Or it's like if you do some craziness, it's an occasional beating, but like it never.
Yeah, not even. It wouldn't even be an occasional beating. Like my relationship with my dad is at that point of if I get to the point where he's like, I have to beat you, we'll throw hands like man to man. That's where we're at. I'm like, because you're not finna put your hands on me in some type of way. I'm 21 years old. I'm not gonna say I'm a grown ass man, but I'm old enough.
You're an adult.
Like you want me? Because like again, my dad will say, if you're a man, you will look me in the eye in a conversation, even if you're, no matter how pissed off you are, don't go looking off, you're gonna look me in the eye. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, you're not gonna put your hands on me no type of way.
So your dad, so you chose to live with your dad from the beginning because you wanted those values of a man to grow up.
But it came alongside of like, okay, you had to get the beatings, the sometimes of lectures that you're not trying to hear when you're at a young age or getting yelled at because you forgot to do something. Obviously at times my dad did go a tad overboard, but it was like, again, from his age, no one really showed him the ropes like he was growing up on his dolos.
Okay. Yeah, it's like
because both his parents were in Jamaica and he was in Canada. He came to Canada when he was 16.
I I feel that.
So
So you adapted very nice to the situation. It's kind of like similar to me in my situation, because I had to live with my mom as with my brother. So my brother kind of like was, like, I was more level headed and he was more so going crazy, going ballistic. Like, you know what I mean? I need that, you know what I mean? All that. So I was kind of like, you know, I just accepted it. Obviously, later on in the future, I had to go, you know, ask my father and like what really happened. Because, you know, you never, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm about to ask you that. So did you know both sides of the story? Because usually most.
yeah, both my parents told me both sides of the story. Obviously, they're gonna twist it in their own way, but I kind of had an understanding of they both were being stupid on their own ends, but they're both too stubborn to admit when they're wrong. It took them a couple years to do so, but at that time they were. My dad was stubborn enough to keep doing the sort of methods that he did, but he learned to tweak them over time because he's like, this is not the right way to do parenting or in a relationship with someone, with my kid's baby mother. So he decided to switch his ways. Now it's less, he won't beat you per se, but he'll chew you up if you need to hear it.
So it's more so he adapted new values and said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can't be beating Jordan all day because he's not gonna learn from that. I need to actually communicate to him, and you know, other values that you personally know. And also, so did your parents end up forgiving each other?
Yeah, like they squabbled a beef. Like now they're like since like what I would say 2019, 2018. They've been relatively chill. Like they've been. My dad will come over. They'll be shooting the shit. There's no real hostility there,
Okay.
at least that I see. So
Okay.
seems like they're fine.
So, did you have to be? This is the last question on this topic. So, did you have to? Since obviously your older brother's in college now, so he can't really be, you know, the older mentor, and you know, he can call the phone and stuff like that. But so your little brother and your little sister, right? So you had to kind of, now you're basically the big brother in the house, and you have to, you know, keep. So how did you keep them in check, or were they like you, level headed, or did they go crazy, or how did
My
they
younger
act?
brother was level-headed, like because naturally he's just an observing person. Like
Mm,
he's more quiet. Me, a more rowdy person to say. Like in a situation like I'm a social butterfly, he won't like to talk to people unless it's like someone he knows he likes. Like he's like, hey, you're cool, I'll talk to you. But more times than not, even if he does like, he doesn't not talkative. Like his
mm.
social battery will die in like 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, so you're gonna analyze you first and like, okay, you know, he's not a weirdo, you know, he's not a waste man. So
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Let me have a convo with him. Let me talk
Like
to
he was
him.
just to himself. Like if you wanted to say like, yo, you try to go press him about something, he's like, yo, don't let me go start getting on you because I know you're not the one talking. And he'll have information on your ass.
Because you've been watching, you've been
Yeah,
taking
he just
notes.
stays quiet.
I've been taking my notes. I've been doing my study. You know,
Exactly.
FBI agent. Anyways, um, so your sister, how did she handle the situation? So your brother was love-headed.
She
So your
was
sister.
young, like she was like still a baby, so she wasn't really comprehending things. So she just seemed like she just kind of grew up on my mother. Like when that split happened, where like it makes sense that you give the daughter to the mother so she can learn feminine traits. She's not gonna grow up in a household full of boys where she's gonna come out like a tomboy, which she still did, but she still can come out
So,
ladylike
oh, so your
per
mom.
se.
So your sister stayed with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you guys kind of have to do like, let's say you and your brother go to your mom's, and your sister would just, you guys would switch, so she would be there with her
No,
dad.
literally be like, okay, my sister be there going to school, or whatever. Oh, she wants to come visit for a weekend or like a week on like the off chances, like say it's winter break. I would have to go grab her, or my mom would come drop her off. But more times it'd be I go grab her, and then my mom will come pick her up.
Okay. Well, I mean, you guys made it work. That's actually good that you guys made it work and stuff like that. And you know, that's good that you know the real story, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's the main part that had me wondering, because you know I always heard one side of the story, and you know what I mean. I never
Hmm.
heard my dad's side. My dad never told me his side, so I had to go seek it myself. When you find out both sides of the story, I'm like, okay, you guys, you know, you figure out, okay, in reality, someone did a little bit more damage, whatever. But then you start to realize, okay, both you guys are just both you guys are dumbasses, and you know things
Yeah,
happen.
basically,
You know what I mean? And you guys, everyone had,
is
you know what I mean?
they're being childish because at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
both my parents were parents from a young age. My mom had my older brother like really young,
Mm-hmm.
like. So I was like, I can't even be mad at them at the way their parenting is. because no one would like. Obviously, they had people to kind of show them, but there was like they weren't there every step of the way. So it's kind of like, and on top of it, you're gonna have your own way of parenting differently than your parents. So when your parents are like, no, don't do this, you're like, don't. I have my own way of doing things. I took in your advice, but I'm gonna do it my way. It's kind of like that.
So it's kind of you take their advice, you know, you're like, okay, I have this advice here, now let me twist it into
and you put your own twist, exactly.
Put your own twist on it. So you still take their advice, but you put your own twist on it that benefits you, that's good for you. I feel that. That's what I did too. So, and I said the last question was the last question, but I want to also ask, so eventually, like, would you have, like, what would have been different? Because this is what I used to think about a lot, but I don't really think about it no more, which probably every kid in a broken home has dealt with. So if your parents were together, do you think your life would have been better?
For sure.
So,
because for one, have been two different individual incomes. You could have put in money, like when you're working together as a team, you have a better chance at paying off rent or paying off mortgages or bills to be paid. You have that backup from your partner. But when it's two different homes, your parents are solely by themselves, making payments for themselves, you and the household. So they, you're really kind of putting a dent on, like, they're not you, but like it's kind of a dent and pause on their own life. So like, say if they're saving up, they can still do so, but it's just not going to be at the rate that they could have done.
So it's like, you know, it's always better to be a team, but you know what I mean. Things do happen, and you know what I mean? You realize, okay, both these guys were kind of dumbasses. They have their own mental stuff going on too, and then they're raising kids. But at the end of the day, you know, you just gotta forgive them. Hey, you guys did the best you guys could. It is what it is, but you know, don't let it affect you as much. But okay, so the next question is: so what are your dreams and goals? So like from when you're a little kid, are you know what I mean, are you kind of fulfilling those dreams, or you know, you see yourself going to this level, like? Are you gonna start them, or are you just gonna say, "Hey, those are just the dreams for then"? And now I'm in a different situation in reality, because obviously, you know, your parents split and things happen. Because I had a dream to, you know, be a basketball player, but at the same time, since parents split, you know, they couldn't send me to basketball. They couldn't send me to basketball club or whatever. So you know what I mean.
Honestly, my dreams when I was younger, from like elementary school days, was like to always play in the NFL. But then, like, that was my dream until like ending of high school, and then I started getting too many injuries, and I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to sustain all these injuries just because. And I was looking at it in the long run. I was like, by the time I hit old age, I'm gonna be like, oh, my knees are already bad. Like, I was trying to save that from happening. Like, I want to be able to run with my kids even into old age. Like, I don't want to have to be saying, oh, my kids are coming to visit me because I had head traumas from football, so I'm in the hospital.
You're trying to be running at 80 years old?
I want to be able to move with my grandkids. Yeah,
that's trying to be at 8 years old, cooking, spin move.
Not even. I want to be able to say I can go if my kids, the grandkids running up to me, I can go scoop them up and like not be like, oh, my back, like, you know.
Oh, okay.
But like right now, like my goal is just to literally just to live, just like to travel and just to live comfortably. Like not necessarily like financially. I want to be like more than comfortable. Like, I want to have like generational wealth. Like I want to have money to say I can leave over to my kids and they can still be comfortable.
That's dope.
Like, you know, just to say I own a couple properties, you know, have like a passive income, you know, rent out a couple apartments, condos, and just make a couple investments and just have that income there. So even when I retire, I still have money coming in.
I like that mindset. You want to buy assets?
No, like that wasn't always my mindset, though. I will say that. The only reason why that became my mindset when it came to more property wise is because of my girlfriend. I will say she impacted me that way, because my mindset was just to literally grind out my early years, and that way when it came to when I was older, I had my money at where I can just retire happy. But she's like, yeah, obviously you retire happy, but then like, how are you going to keep the money in your retirement? So she kind of showed me different looks on that. So I was like, okay, because I'm not a big political person. I hate politics. So when she's like, and you can ask me politics questions right now, I couldn't answer any of them. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Thank God you said that, because now I don't have to ever bring that up, because I don't know. I don't like that either.
Nah, come on, like, yo, you know this party? I'm like, not a damn thing. I haven't voted yet. I'm gonna keep it honest with you.
Hey man, that's the reason why we have the same name, same attitude towards politics. I have not voted yet. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm like, I just live my life. Like, obviously, I care about politics to a degree where it affects me, but like outside of that, I can't control everything the government does. because you can vote for one at a time that seems best, but they're not gonna always meet every expectation that you have.
But at least your girl knows it, so you're always informed. You know what I mean? So that's good.
Yeah, like my girlfriend's always striving for me to be intellectually better. She's like, she wants to have those deep conversations, but me naturally I don't. So that's where kind of like the ins and out of our relationship kind of happen. But we always make it work because I try to put my pride aside and say, okay, let me have this conversation with her. Obviously, not more. I would say more times than not, I don't have it, but I communicate problems when they need to be done. But more times than not, I'm just like, yo, if it doesn't need to be had, like the conversation doesn't need to be had, I don't want to have it.
But I saw.
But again,
that's definitely we're gonna go into the dating and relationship a little bit further. But that's definitely dope. That your girl is definitely putting on that game and trying to help you be the best man. Financially and intellectually. That's actually very very dope. Asset to your life. That's very very
for real.
Dope. Respect that. But okay, so next little question here. So what was the hardest thing you faced in 2020? So obviously when Corona hit, you know what I mean. Not when it was when it was like, all right, so everything's getting
when it was fresh.
When it was fresh, and also, what is the hardest thing to like right at the moment currently? Even though things are clearing up, but what's the hardest thing right now as well? So start off with 2020, Corona striking, and then go into right now, or if it's not hard, if it's not as hard right now, just say the couple things.
Honestly, the hardest thing in like 2020 was just the fact that I had no real income, like consistent income, because everything was closed down. So I had to find a lot of different jobs, and the jobs that were there weren't jobs I was wanting at that time. So I max had to go into CERB, and that was only going for so long, and then it kind of just closed you off from the outside world. Like you couldn't go nowhere like you wanted to. Like I didn't see my girlfriend for like how many months? Like majority of the first quarantine.
Oh, so like for probably like 6-7 months.
Yeah,
really?
And then like. Yeah, and then her grandmother's like, you know what? The occasional time like I'd pop in and be like for a weekend and I leave, but her grandmother's like, you know what? You can go stay there if you want, because I'm not gonna go deprive you from seeing your boyfriend, or I'm not gonna deprive you from seeing your girlfriend. That's just wicked. So she's like, if you want to stay there for the next couple months, you can, or until the lockdown's done, and then you just come back when it's done. She's like. And that was the plan.
So I want to know, because I feel like you're more of you're a social butterfly. You could extrovert, introvert. I can't.
It was
so
me. I'm like, I will say this. I'm a very social person when it comes to shit that I like or that I'm knowledgeable on. More times than not, when I'm not talkative, it's because like either I just don't feel like talking, or I don't know enough information to voice my opinion on it.
In the situation where you couldn't, no, that's the two. So in the situation where you couldn't see your girlfriend, so I'm assuming, but I'm gonna ask as well. So how was it like? How was the distance? Obviously the FaceTime was there, but also, so who wanted to see who more in a sense? Like who, like did you guys try to like make it a sneak up? We
wanted to see. It was like we just had to stay up on calls a lot later, like because obviously there'd be points where we kind of found. We had nothing to do, so we called during the day, but you also have to kind of give that person space. We can't be on the phone with them all the time, because that person, you got to remember that person has like their own personal life, and that was kind of our adjustment even from that point till this current day. We're so in that, okay, you have work, I have work. We're not going to always be able to call, but we can always shoot a text to make sure that I'm thinking about you, all that.
Yeah, to check in.
So that's how we exactly just checking in, making sure you know that person. You're showing that person, I still care for you, I still love you, still thinking about you. I'm not forgetting about you. Don't worry. And and just staying honest to that, because a lot of people that do that, but then they're like, oh, my girlfriend's like, she lives 3 hours away from me. I can go fuck around and do this. I don't know why people do that, but me, I'm not a person to go bouncing from person to person. I'm pretty stuck on one person. That's my personality wise.
I mean. In the defense to the people who do live super distance away, the reason why super long distance, like for me, I always say this, like if it's a serious relationship, like an hour away is probably, that's even I think that's too far, but that's the max I would say that's okay. But even then, it's like when I go out the hour, I gotta see you for like at least I gotta be there for like at least 2-3 days or something, because I'm not trying to be driving for an hour every single time. You know what I mean?
No, but that's the thing. Once you're in a relationship with someone that you care for like that so deeply, any amount of time is worth it for you in the end. Like obviously me, I get with my girlfriend, I kind of get annoyed because she works nights and I work mornings, so our schedules are very different. So like when I go to her house on a weekend, like I'll go from like Saturday to Monday, and then it's like, hey, when she works nights, so I don't really see her half the day. I only see her like when she wakes up a couple hours in a day, and then she goes to work. So then I'm just there like, okay, but I'm not completely mad because I'm like, at least I get to see her, go to sleep, and wake up beside her. I'm like, that's cool enough for me. Like, and I'm in Hamilton, she's in Mississauga. Like that's like 45 minutes, basically with traffic, an hour and some change.
Yeah, it's about 45. Yeah, it's about 45.
Mind you, I'm not driving a car. Like, I'm taking transits.
Oh, okay. If you're driving a car, easy 25, 30 minutes. It's still roughly the same time. It's still pretty.
But like, because obviously we're taking the transit because it just makes stops. But if I'm driving from Hamilton to Saga, 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes, solid 30 minutes. But
without traffic, but like on like a light day, it's like what the max 40 minutes.
Yeah. On I guess it all depends on timing, and everyone's coming home.
Exactly.
You go home to like the rush hour time, so I used to say the bus too heavy. You know what I mean? So if you go home like, let's say you're going to see a girl around like, like 4 or 5. That's the rush hour time where everyone just finished their work, they're hopping on the bus and stuff. You know what I mean? If you live in Toronto, just honestly,
good luck to you.
You have to invest in that car after that. But the next question I have is a very important question. So how so what are some of the things you overcame in your life mentally and physically, and like what advice do you have to younger men to overcome those things? Because obviously now that I know you're a super level headed guy, even though I know you're always super level headed, but this is like a deeper question because everyone goes through their mental things. You, your girlfriend, your mother, your father, anyone can go through mental things. So it's like how do you deal with how did you deal with it? And like for younger men especially, because younger men don't really open up these days, and everyone's closed off, no one's in therapy. So like
honestly, it's just for me how I dealt with things is like I'm nonchalant for the most part, but I'm also a very emotional person. So
really?
Obviously I was to myself, yeah, for sure.
I don't see that.
That's the thing. It takes a lot for me to get riled up, but once you get me to that point, it's a shaky point. But for the most part, I say I just go with the I don't really care mentality. Like I care, but I won't show it per se. So like if someone's like trying to go cuss me off, I'm like, hey, but was it really necessary to go yelling and do all that shit? And then they're like, bro, fuck you, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. Anyways,
so you don't let your emotions take over you. So you try to like keep your emotions in control.
I try to keep them in control as much as possible if possible for me. I'm not gonna say I'm guaranteed keeping my emotions in check 24/7. That'd be a damn lie. But for the most time, I try to keep myself from situations from getting to that point. But like in terms of just dealing by myself, honestly, dealing with shit yourself is just not the way to always go. And you can only go dealing with shit yourself only for so far. Sometimes it does take the voice and opinion of someone from the outside in to really have you show like a different perspective to reality. I know my girlfriend's gonna chew me up because I'm having these deep conversations with you instead of her, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have a call with her later. But in terms of just being on your own and dealing with shit, just breathe, take everything one step at a time, and don't let everything just always weigh you down. Like sometimes you can just put shit to the side and just enjoy life. Like you don't always have to 24/7 be worrying about, oh, I wonder what she's thinking. Sometimes it can't be helped, but like you can also put yourself in better situations. Like you can go chill with your homeboys and go have a good time. And you know what, you can temporarily forget about the situation, but at least you had that small glimpse of time of happiness where you were truly happy. You're with your friends, you're having a good time, you're not thinking about nothing else or no dumb shit. Even if it's as small as you go to like a bar, grab nachos and have a couple drinks and just shoot the shit.
So a tiny little sidetrack, still on the same topic. So I just listened to what you said, and you said your girl's gonna chew you up for having these conversations with me instead of her. So quick little question. You might get chewed a little bit more, but it's all good. You're already chewed up at this point. So
no
is it more a sense where as maybe you maybe you have tried to talk to your girl about this, or is it easier to talk to?
No,
Because I feel like sometimes it's
it's
easier for
easier to
guys
talk to
talk to
her.
guys. Is it easier to talk to guys about this, or because I feel like you know what I mean? Because me and you,
It's
I knew
easier
you
to
for a
talk
long
to.
time. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah, man's
conversation
been
can
kicking it since
flow.
grade 8, fam.
So it's like I instantly did you come to the school later? Did you transfer to that school?
Yeah, I came to like the thing at like late in the school year. I was
Okay.
originally like at a next school for like majority of like I went to the middle school for like grade 6, 7, and then like soon as grade 8 was going, and it said yeah, no,
Okay,
went
okay.
to.
So, in a sense, where are you? Because a lot of guys are feel this way. Because a lot of guys can really express certain things to men, and for me, I understand exactly how you feel and what you're saying. So I'm not gonna question like, oh, what the hell? Talk to your girl about it. I'm like, I get it. And like sometimes, like
It's
guys
just
understand better
sometimes
than
it's
girls as well.
exactly a guy will understand a guy from their a guy perspective, so you
Mm,
will have different conversations than what your girl can only see, or you can only explain it so much to your girl from your point of view, but they will never live that point of view, no
mm,
matter how you explain it. Like you live that day to day, you tell them, okay, cool, you now adjust to the situation, but there's still gonna be shit that guys deal with in a relationship that girls won't understand completely. They'll understand it, like they'll sympathize with you, but they won't 100%
and
understand.
vice versa, obviously.
And vice versa, there's shit that we don't understand that girls do, which is why obviously I try to be a little more attentive to my girlfriend when it comes to listening. And sometimes she's even told me, she's like, sometimes I don't need to always have the right answer. Sometimes I just need to shut up and sit there and let her just vent and let her speak and just say, okay, I hear you, babe. Sometimes that's all they need to hear.
Mm. So over the course
So
of
I'm trying to get back in
time,
that.
yeah. Okay. Also, a quick advice for the young men out there dealing with heavy mental things and going through that trauma and how to overcome that. And obviously, in your case, you're a little bit you kind of look at the more positive sides and you kind of take everything and you say,
I'm
okay,
just
this is a
realistic with
situation.
things, and I
Mm,
go and I just try to go about it from there. Cause my girlfriend will get mad at me every time because she'll say something like, "Oh, aren't you excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, but what if this?" I'm like, I will. There's times where I'm like, "Hey, I could have not said that," but I'm also like, I'm not gonna be putting all my eggs in one basket. Just like, yeah, I'm excited, and then 'cause I always, me mentally, I just prepare for like disappointment at times. We can say it's like a past trauma experience, but yeah,
so could you say like that also could be due to things that happen in childhood as in disappointment
yeah, it was
because
literally
at the
from
mm,
childhood over until into my love life. I've been trying to adapt to different ways to pleasing different people. So it's either I'm
okay,
super talkative, I don't talk at all, I'm energetic, not energetic. I was always a people pleaser. So
okay,
I just came to that realization. I just said one day, like at what 2018,
mm,
2017, I was just like, you know what? I don't really care for people's opinions anymore. Like I tried to close myself off from others, like just emotionally. Like I would tell people like I was only telling very few people my problems.
mm,
But more times than not, I was like, everyone's like, "Yo, you're blessed." I would shrug it off, have a smile on my face, but yeah, I'm cooling.
but
But I
you just
as it is,
I feel you.
cheese, thinking about life, trying to figure out my life. That's just where my head's been at for a couple years. Even now, I still don't even have like a true destination of where I'm trying to be. But like, I have steps to get there. But like, my end goal, that's still a mystery to me.
But okay. So, quick thing, because we skipped over the little quick question. So let's say you see a guy on the road, or not a guy on the road, but let's say you see men in general who go through problems. So, what advice would you give to all the guys who are watching this potentially? How to
Just
overcome
to
mental stuff. Yeah.
surround your feet, just surround yourself with just good people,
Mm,
honestly, and just don't be afraid to find that group of people, even if it's a solid 5 friends. Just really make sure those are your real good friends, and if they are, just support them in their dreams and what they're doing, but don't put your own dreams aside in order to push them for theirs. Make sure they're giving you that same energy back,
mm,
and just grow from there. Just try to open yourself up bit by bit, not saying, "Oh, tell them all your problems," but just slowly, let that person into your life, not just just emotionally.
So
Because people like to do that a lot and just close themselves off. Like, you'll never understand. There's always someone that will understand where you're coming from, or that feels your pain, or there's always someone that has it worse than you do.
yeah, it's
Like, that's just a given.
adapt.
Like, that's a very used statement, but it's very true.
So you're basically saying in short term. So instead of reacting, adapt.
Exactly. Don't be like, oh, the world's against me. Honestly, it's not the world's against you. You're just putting yourself in positions to be in that, like, the world's against me situation. Because no one cares that you're playing victim. Like, they're gonna live their life whether you like it or not. And if you want to be a part of it and continue being positive and doing good shit, cool. But if you're not gonna be pushing that person or benefiting them mentally and emotionally or physically to that person that you're talking to, they're not gonna stick around. Like, now, no one's saying you gotta have the most shit. Like, you have to have the most money, be the most knowledgeable, but just make sure you're there for that person when they need the person to be there for them.
And you know, I agree with that 100%. Now, and another thing I want to give advice to the men is, hey, don't be, you know what I mean, don't be afraid to also, you know, therapies are always a good thing. I want to put
Therapy is
especially in the black
exactly.
community, because you know, definitely you can keep it in for, you can keep it inside forever, but eventually you gotta say it. You know what I mean? Not saying you gotta be
To
bothered, crying
really
tears out.
to really heal from that situation, you do have to vent about it a bit. Obviously, I don't, I just learn from my past mistakes and I just move on. When people ask me like, oh, like, you're asking like past traumas, I'm like, honestly, I've looked at them, I analyzed them, and I was like, okay, this is what I got from that situation.
Mm.
Obviously, they left their imprints in different ways, but at the end of the day, dwelling on them is not going to do me justice now. Like, I just have to learn to do better than what they did in that situation.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
definitely dope.
okay, how my parents are doing their parenting, I'm going to do it 10 times better than what they were doing it back then.
That's dope.
Like, I know I'm just trying to better myself to be like, okay, this is what I did. Like, say, oh, my dad would be working this, and my mom would be to stay at home. Okay, I need to know my role. If my girlfriend or my wife is she's working a 6-figure job, I would have no problem being a single home dad because I would play my role towards the family and to benefit us where we need to be.
Hold on. Be careful with those words. The girlfriend, then you know, I don't want to get you in no trouble, man. I don't want you in no problems after this. But
There's gonna be no problems. It's just literally it is what it is. Like, if my girlfriend said, "Yeah, I make more than you do,"
mm,
and she said, "Oh, we need to watch the kids," like, would you mind? I would have no problem so long as we have our income coming in and everyone's just happy. I don't see a problem into being a stay-at-home dad, even at being a stay-at-home wife. There's no like cons in doing that. You're doing what's right for the
so
family and what's right in the
so,
situation.
and this is a quick little side question. Not that I have to ask you, but so in a sense, so what kind of, like, you know, let's say, you know, I'm gonna use your girlfriend because that's obviously the most recent. I mean, that's the present time. So let's say you and your girlfriend have you know, kids and stuff like that. So would you want boys and girls, and like how, like, obviously, you know, you see, it's a little bit too early
I
to
said
discuss that, but
so long as even when I'm having kids, I don't. So our plan is like we're having obviously our. I want my own kids, but like if we don't have kids, we would look into adopting kids. But realistically speaking, like obviously, I would have 2 sons, 2 daughters, because my max amount of kids I ideally want is 4.
because you're used to
But
it.
then again, over time it can change. But right now, I want 4.
Mm, okay. So four, and then you
Two
know,
boys, 2 girls, or it can be like as long as I have a son, I'm cool.
you
I
want a
don't care if they're
legacy.
all
You want a legacy.
daughters, but I just need one miniature like version of me.
So you don't want four
You know?
sons.
Oh no, that'd be brutal.
Wow, what's wrong with that, bro? That's literally,
Nah, cause
that's almost a basketball team, bro.
okay, that's cool. I already got a 3-man roster. I just need to. I got the point guard, the small forward. We're good.
Okay.
Cause we already got a 3-man team. Sometimes and just having a daughter gives you a different perspective on life, which is why I say that. And
Yeah.
you treat them and parent them differently than you do your sons,
Mm.
which is why I want to have a daughter because again, you have a daughter. That's
So
kind of a cool thing to
would
have.
you ever beat your daughter?
No,
So why is it a lot of men, a lot
I
of
can have
boys and
my
girls
my
say that?
wife do that. I won't put my hands on my daughter.
But like, what's the
I will
like?
I will
What
put her
like,
on punishment.
like? What's the difference though?
I just don't personally put my hands on women.
Nah, I mean
That's just me.
yeah, it's still one. But like it's like like let's say you have a little baby, still gotta
Like the most I would do,
like,
yeah, a little tap on the hand. That's the most I would do. I'm like, that's no. I'm not gonna go beating my daughter, but like if she's at a young age, I'm like, give her a little smack on the bum or a tap on her hand. Like, yo, what are you doing?
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about like
that. Yeah, like
belts,
obviously, then yeah, like something small, but like it would have to be like a dramatic thing she did. I'm like, hey, yo, that's a definite no. And if it's like a constant reoccurring thing, then yeah, I would do so, but I wouldn't resort to beating them right away.
But see, I want to ask you a quick question, a little personal question. So, have you got the dual belt treatment? Because I have had the dual belt treatment.
The dual belt?
And
I've had the belt broken across my leg.
It was like
I got the belt hand combo. My dad was very swift with that one. He had that one down pat. I remember this one time he told me to go into his room. I was sitting on his bed waiting, and he's searching for his belt. He found a belt. That shit broke across my leg. It was used for beating so many times it broke at one point.
But why? See, this thing is like parents are like, yo, can you just wait here right quick? What are you doing? Hold up, man. Just find something like. But I don't know what it was. My mom that day was tweaking. Like she literally had two belts, and she was
just twirling them since she said nice.
Like, it was like, you know what I mean? Dual swordsman. She was.
Yeah, she hit you with the wax on, wax off. Oh, but offensive, fam. That's kind of crazy.
And then my brother was watching that, and this guy came. Like he saw me crying in the room. He came. And he started laughing at me.
No, that's the thing. And you couldn't laugh if your younger sibling came in, because your parents would be waiting for you. They'd be looking at you, and you're here like, oh shit.
You're laughing. You think that's funny? You think that equal treatment in this house? You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Equal rights, equal fights. You're getting these hands too. What you mean?
Yeah, I hated that, bro. So the next question.
The worst is when they hit you with the yo. What are you crying for? You want something to cry for? You're literally threatening to beat me, fam. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like for me personally, I don't know if I want to beat my kids, man. Like I don't know if I want to.
No, like I'll give my kids beatings if they are deserving of beatings. I'm not just gonna go resort to beatings 24/7.
I don't know what it is. I have a theory that Jamaican parents or any parent in general who beats their kids, not as in like it's a bad thing, but as in like you've been beat when you're a kid. You're like, yo, finally it's my time. Like when you're older, it's like your kid's gonna be like, oh, can we get to McDonald's? And you're like, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. You have McDonald's.
Exactly, you got McDonald's. Yep.
And it's like, nah,
we got McDonald's food at home. We got better food at home. No, we got frozen patties from No Frills. That's not the same.
If parents would have explained to me like this food is not good for you, it's gonna mash up your body. Like we can.
No, they would tell me that, but I didn't business. I wanted my McNuggets. Yeah, I wanted my Junior Chicken. Mans wanted the Big Mac. Mans needed their milkshakes and their soda. Because you're a kid, you don't care. You just want to have something that tastes good. Even now, I'm still like, hey, I cut down on my fast food, but I'll still eat it.
Nah, Junior, I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what anybody says. Junior Chicken brought man's through. Like, I don't care what man's. I don't care.
Junior Chickens is really. Nah, Junior Chickens and cheeseburgers. Those are really the struggle burgers. Either you had the cheeseburger or a double cheeseburger, or you had the Junior Chicken.
I don't know what it was.
You had 2-3 of those, you're set for the day.
And see, the thing is, I don't know what it was. Only like sometimes, like when you feel like I feel like getting a little fancy. I'll get a double, even though it was the same thing. You just felt like it was more elite for some, just a little bit.
Yeah, man's got a double cheeseburger. You're like, nice. It wasn't much more, but you're feeling like a guy that day.
But I'm saying, but I don't know if I can eat that processed food now, but because now I know what's in it and all that foolishness, But all right, let's get into this. So how do you feel? So obviously you're off the market, but I'm saying is, what I mean? He's off the market. You know what I'm saying, to your girlfriend, just so I don't want you to get into no trouble. But how do you looking from the outside in? How do you feel about the dating market? Just seeing the cheating or this and the toxic, like actually looking at
honestly
from two lenses though, from the social media lens and the real life lens, because social media is exaggerated, right? So,
I find a lot of couples nowadays are trying to match other couples. Like, they're so set, like, oh, see, they're doing this. Why can't we do that? It's not that you can't do that. You're just not doing it at the same time. You have a time and a place for everything. Like, you could be financially there in a relationship, but not mentally and emotionally there. Or sometimes you rush into things too quick, and then you're like, oh, we screwed it up. You literally just got to take your time, get to know the person emotionally, physically. You don't have to be intimate with them, like having sex. Just get to know the person. Yeah, sex is cool and all, but like knowing the person first, it just makes a relationship better, where you can voice your opinion without being yelled at or starting an argument. Like if you can have a constructive conversation, your relationship can go fine.
Yeah, because
It's as simple as that.
sex is something that's always just gonna be. It's always gonna be there. But I feel like it's always this. I always say this: if the sex is off and everything else is right, the relationship might end up flopping. Or if everything else, if the sex is great and the intimacy,
You
the
have to find
actual
a balance.
conversation, it has to kind of be a balance so it could all stay together. Because if
Mm-hmm.
one's off, if one's hard than the
No,
other,
because the thing is, I find with just in general, like if you are showing your girlfriend like just the basic shit, like just being there, listening, being attentive, and just being a good boyfriend all around, your sex is going to be fine because they have no reason to be physically unappealed by you. Like they're going to be more attracted to you because you're doing good boyfriend shit.
But that would
That's
also,
just been given.
but I'd argue that would also go into let's say your girlfriend has 100 bodies and next thing she deal with Big Mike Tyson, Big Mike, you know what I'm saying, Big Mike, and
But see, but that's the thing. You can always deal with something because obviously, say she had like a body count of like fucking 50 guys before you. Yeah, there could be someone that's like they were giving her like the rude, like the single life sex treatment. But there's a different experience and feeling when you're having sex with someone that you truly care for and that you're not going like you're not cutting them off. You're staying with that person. Because for one, you get to learn each other inside and out.
So let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically, Jordan's girlfriend. So let's say you marry a porn star, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're married to her. Yeah, she's emotionally connected to you, but I always feel like there's a difference between emotional and physical. So let's say,
Mm-hmm.
let's say she's a white girl and she's obviously, been on black.com. Shout out black.com. I need a sponsor. She's she, she's been through that, and let's say you're a good guy. You're still laying it down, but the thing is, the ultimate question is, do you think more so a whole? I'm not calling, yes I am. You're a porn star. Anyways, she's been through so many experiences to the point where wouldn't she have that flash, like that flat, like do you think you could be with a whole long term? Like do you think that she would ever go back to her ways? Because at the end of the day, I think
I couldn't personally.
I say this, people do change, but the thing is, it's always in you, but the thing is, can you control it? And I say this personally for me, if a girl like has like 100 bodies, 200 bodies, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We could do our thing, but at the same time, I can't really be in no committed relationship because it's gonna be that inside of you. Like it's the pair bonding is mash up at this point. It's mash up.
It's just the thing because it's not that you're just like you're a porn star. You're on such a wide platform that everyone's seeing on a daily basis all across the world, and someone's gonna recognize you. And it's not that they see you whole ass, butt ass naked. Like some people don't care. Like so what, you see my nipples or whatever. Some girls don't care about that, which is cool. But I feel like some things just don't need to be seen. Like if you're doing porn, that's cool. Get your money how you want to get your money. It's just like any way of making money, there's always a backlash of someone who hates. As simple as that. Like you could be a good person, have a great life outside of doing whatever you're doing. It's just like porn was like your quickest way to cash. You had a time and place, and it's just kind of like you're in a nice spot. You don't want to fuck it up, so you continue doing it. Like that's what some porn stars do because they're making so much money from it. And like you can, at any time they can quit and then decide to go make a family.
Are you committing to that woman? Not saying
I would have to feel out the waters.
I'm not saying boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm talking about papers. We're going hardcore, like marriage papers.
Like if I'm dating them for so long and like they're not doing the porn and thing, I can get past that as long as from when they're doing porn they've been checked, they're clean. Then we're good because again, whatever that's you. People always get over like, oh, it's used. Okay, cool. In the back of my mind, it's still gonna be there. It's still gonna irk me because.
So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this. So you have a Lamborghini, no mileage, right? You buy it from the store, $150,000. Good. That's good. It's good. It's good. The for sale sign's gone. But the thing is, you know what I mean? The company's like, hey, can you just leave the Lamborghini here on Fridays at 9 p.m. so people can test drive it a couple times? So would you be okay with that? And also the next one is, would you buy a Lamborghini with 200,000 kilometers on it, brand new?
No.
But see, but then that's what I'm saying is, so would you
like I get
okay
that like,
but would you be?
but see that's the thing, like a Lamborghini is different from a female in a sense because a Lamborghini you can fix it, but it's always gonna be ran through. Like a woman, yeah, she's had many
Hold on.
I just
Wait,
I first listen. Okay.
Okay.
Because right now you're comparing the two, and I've done this, and I know my girlfriend's gonna chew me up for my response. But like in general, obviously you're not. It's just that everyone's different. Some people can overlook they have bare bodies. I fuck with that person. I can fuck with people. You know, I may not fuck with you like sexually, but like, we could be cool peoples. Like we could be really close friends. Now, if like I'm kicking it with you for as long as I have, and I'm like, you know what, she's not doing whole tendencies, then sure. But if you're constantly flashing your body, doing the most, I'm not keeping that around me. That's not what I want my kids to be saying. Yeah, that's what their mom used to be doing. You get me?
No, it's harder because at the end of the day, so you're telling me that one day, let's say, we're chilling or whatever, and I gotta add, I'm like, oh shoot, I see a fat button, like, jeez, I click on that, I'm being stupid, I click on that, and I'm like, yo, whose girlfriend's getting waxed out? Like, yo, Jordan, like, yo, pretty this, like, but that's my wife, bro. So like that,
and that's what I always told people. I'm like, if they could like quit porn and then there'd be no trace on the internet, sure. But there's always gonna be a video and a man's gonna be like, yo, remember when so and so used to do porn and they go flashing it to you, like, yo, I didn't.
You can pay $100,000 to get 90% removed, but 10% will still be there somewhere around. One of those.
That's what I'm saying. There's no point. I'm not paying to get 90% off. If I'm paying, I'm getting 100% off. And I'm not getting 100. I don't give a shit at that point. You already seen shit.
Are you buying? So the real ultimate question: are you buying the Lamborghini $150,000 with 200,000 miles on it?
No, because that's not gonna last long.
But wouldn't that be? It's like, but I think you said the Lamborghini. But you said the Lamborghini has been used and ran through. Is that not the same?
Yeah, like no, because the reason why, because you can't really compare the two. Because like a coochie can be reshaped back to where it was. A Lamborghini can't just take off the mileage.
So you're telling me a coochie
you can forget the mileage on a story.
No, we have to go into different. No. You're telling me this thing can be reshaped.
Yeah, girls' coochies after they're done dick, it goes back to their original shaping. It's just not.
Bro, you're acting like this is me. I'm about to lose some weight and I'm about to go back to my original shape. Like, no, it doesn't work like this, bro. So you're telling me. So do you believe in soul ties?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 200 demons, 200 souls that your girl had to. So you're telling me she did a cleanse for 3 years and then she clean all those 200 guys, and then she's focused solely on you.
Yeah, I could make it work. Yeah.
So, and in a sense, and the last thing is.
But again, it depends. But that's the thing. It depends on how.
But the last thing is, remember, you're living in Mississauga, and 200 guys are in Mississauga that she dealt with. So remember, Mississauga is it's pretty big as well. But your local areas like
Square One,
Square One, you know what I mean?
That's
Aaron
fine.
Mills, South
the reason why they're like, oh, that's cool, man. Say, yo, man can go say this shit like on how my dick tastes, all that bullshit. That's cool and all. You're just mad because, for one, you're not continuing to beat the Doonies down. Only I am, and she's literally only kept that the same way for the past how many years. She had a whole phase of you. Obviously, you're hurt because that's a whole phase. No one wants to hear about a whole phase. But in general, you can look past that. It depends on how into that person you are, how committed you are, and what you're willing to do. And that's the thing. I can't make that answer now. You'd have to ask me if I was in that situation. I can give you an answer now, I'd be like, yeah, no. But if I end up,
I could already tell that you're not gonna be in a situation because right now you capping right now. That's what I gotta say. You capping right now because the thing is the women you choose. The women you choose right now, which is your girlfriend, the good woman you choosing right now, and who has not been through 200, 300. It's based on the choices right now, and just in general.
Me personally, I go into low body count. Now, if you're like, it also depends on your body. But listen, you didn't let me speak. It also depends on your body count within this time if you've done it. If you're from, like, say, you didn't start having sex when you're 18, and you say you're 21 now and you have a body count of 50, that's kind of tweaking. That is kind of tweaking. That means you made no attempt, realistically speaking, to find a real connection. You were just looking for physical connections.
So you said 18 to 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And if you have 50 bodies,
so that's 4. So we're gonna take the number. I got my calculator. I got my phone. So we're gonna take 50 and divide it by 4. So that's 12 bodies a year.
like, I already find this having that's a tad much within a year. But
Like, what do you
again, you could try each month. That's cool. Like 12 bodies. But I'm just saying in general, if it wasn't genuine, like you were attempting to make a connection with that person, then okay. Or sometimes you just need to spend time to yourself and like, hey, why haven't I really been in a relationship? You can. There's always stuff to improve on yourself. So today, that's what it comes down to. Like some people just can't find real love because people aren't looking for it, or they just end up finding the wrong people. So that's why their body count goes up. Because people just use them. Because you could be thinking you're in a genuine connection with someone, they can say, "Yeah, I'm out." Yes, sir. Open the door. All right, I'm on my way downstairs to the kitchen. Proceed the podcast.
Okay, so let's transition over from this because I won't be able to let this up because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, if all your homies said we happen to experience Catherine on the weekend of Saturday night, and we have actually ran a train on her, you're not gonna be with her no more. So this is why I think okay, so next one is don't so how do you have a successful relationship? So you have your relationship, not saying it's successful as in it's still going and you learned as you go. So like
Just literally just taking the time to learn the other person
so
and be there for that person.
What are the tips? So what are the tips you have for the new guys and the new girls going into relationships? So start with the man side, what men should do, and what are the best things to do, like setting standards or whatever list you have, right? And start from the girls, what they should do for the man. Base it off kind of your relationship and the success.
Just take your time with things, honestly. Like for like the first couple months, you don't have to be physically intimate. Just set the there's a time and a place, and if you feel it's right to have sex, cool. But just really get to know that person, where they're at mentally, or where they're trying to go. Like, make sure that person has goals, or not just trying to be complacent all the time in where they're at.
So you think? So what should men do? So what should men do in relationships? Like,
Don't always look for the big booty girl. As simple as that, because guys are so stuck up with that crap. No, the girl has to have a fat ass and a nice, slim, thick waist. Like, no, shut up.
Well, that clap.
Because at the same day, because they're like, girls are only.
But that clapback's crazy though.
Yeah, because I'm also saying at the same time, girls do the same shit. They're like, I want guys with 6-pack abs and shit. I'm like, it's hypocritical on both parties.
So you say
because they're like, because men ain't shit, but they're going for the guy with the 6-pack abs and a fucking shitty personality. Rather than when they're skipping the guy that could be like potentially like say a little overweight, but he's a solid ass dude, personality wise, all around, and financially better. But girls are attracted physically, and if they're not physically to you, but they are emotionally, they're gonna go with the ones that they have a little more physical attraction to because
so do you think
love won't always conquer.
So do you think that you're basically saying is men and women go for people with more tangible results instead of
like are they going to be beneficial to your mental health? Like, are they going to make you better as a person? Are they caring? Are they family oriented? Do they want to have kids? Are they good with kids? Are they going to be loving, listening, the shit like that? Because everyone's like, I started a relationship. You're always in a honeymoon phase. But then you start to realize real shit. Like you're like, hey, yo, she's kind of moving weird. Like after like 6 months into your relationship, you're like, yo, why is she moving mad rude, or she's not doing the same amount of effort like she used to? Because people get comfortable and they show their true colors.
Oh, so that's a big. So are you telling me do not get comfortable? No comfortability.
Like you can have comfortability. Just make sure you know where that person's head's at. So like, say you're in your relationship now. There hasn't been obviously because every relationship's gonna have flaws. You're gonna have those moments where you argue. If you don't argue, that person doesn't care enough. Or if not even argue, if you don't constantly talk to that person about problems and work through the problem situations, your relationship's gonna fail.
Okay. I actually want to ask you. This is a very important thing because for me, I believe in the relationship. Because I know there's actually a guy who lives across from my house, and he says him and his girl have been married for 11 years and they have not argued. They have not argued for 9 out of those 11 years. And they said this. They said we don't remember the last time we argued. They said we communicate, and they said we
Exactly.
do not and they said we do not argue. Like there's no like, oh my God, why is your spoon on the? You know what I mean? There's no dumb art. Like it's literally
Just tell that person, I appreciate it if you do this instead of doing this.
But so do you believe?
And you can say, oh.
So do you believe that you need arguing to have a healthy relationship? Because I think that's cap. I want to know your opinion because you're actually in a relationship. So,
no, but sometimes each person, like, you can communicate your problem, but sometimes that person just has so much frustration. Like sometimes yelling just gets all your energy out. But when people yell, they forget that they're yelling and they're gonna say shit that's gonna be hurtful. So unless you're gonna yell and prove a positive point to better your situation, not put that person in a shittier one, then don't be yelling. Just talk the situation out. You can obviously like slightly increase your volume, but don't be yelling at the person because yelling is not going to cause or do anything for you.
Okay. And so now to transition over a little bit. So this is a question that I personally want to know, and also for any other guys want to know. So Jordan, you've been in a 2-3 year relationship?
3 years.
So you've been in a 3-year relationship. So you know what I'm saying. Even for the people who want to know this, but man, I want to know this. So how did you decide and how did you choose your girl? You know, how did you decide?
I didn't really. It's not something you pick. It's just kind of something you feel. Like it's just like an in your gut feeling. Because it was just like with my girlfriend, I just decided it was more like I was at peace. I was always happy with her. Like doing the most basic shit put a grin on my face. And just little things like that I picked up on. I'm like, yo, I care for this woman. And I was just like, and I'm like, you know what? I want to kind of see where this goes and see if things can get serious.
So like, okay, let me say this. So what qualities in your girl do you like? You know, we're not gonna go into no dislike. You know, so hey, Jordan's girlfriend, if you're watching this, hey, he's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, explaining that right now. So the qualities that you like in her, and why did you? So those qualities made you choose her. So like, just list them off and like explain them. So because I want to know personally. Like,
just again, like physical wise, like her smile, that shit gets me. Like just simple shit like smile, where you know she'll look at me. I always dependent on other people, but she's open to others. So I'm like, she's understanding, she's caring, loving, family oriented. She's very caring for her family.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I think he disconnected a little bit on his end. I cannot hear him at the moment. But yeah, I cannot hear him. Let's see if I can contact him real quick.
Yo,
okay, guys, he's back. Okay.
My fault. I was in the kitchen still eating food.
Going into explaining how I love my girlfriend so much, and you know, sorry, you know that food hit, but
yeah.
But okay, so you've seen those qualities.
She's just smart, and she just academically is, you know, she was just all around a person that I was just really drawn to, and I just said, you know what, I want to make her just mine, just, you know.
So
and went from there.
So the last quick question is, so teach guys, so a little teaching lesson and showing guys right now. So how do you avoid, you know, simping for the wrong girl? Even though, you know what I mean, because simping.
You just gotta not be so oblivious to the signs and red flags. Because guys are like, they always get caught up in like, oh, she's mad bad though. Yeah, that's cool, but there's always gonna be a girl sexier than your girl, and there's always gonna be a boyfriend sexier than you are. What makes you so different?
So it's
Because your girl can at least be like, oh, he's not doing this for me. I can get this better here.
Okay. So it's more so the intimacy overrides the physical aspect of it. So the connection and what you guys got going on. Okay. So the next question I have here is so two last questions and we're gonna close it out. So how do you want to impact the world overall? Like how would you wanna as Jordan Henry?
I just want I just want to have people just to impact them positively, like just to say, oh, that guy was a cool ass nigga, like he was always there for me, give me advice even when he was in a situation where he wasn't any better than me, but he was always looking out for others and shit like that. Like I just want to be not necessarily I want to be like a role model in a way, just so there's the younger generation of like you don't always have to go through shit alone. Because I did that shit myself and it's not fun. So I'm just trying to show them from a young age you don't have to always do shit your own. Sometimes, but also at the same time, you have to know the difference between doing shit on your own, where you have to, or you have to require help. You have to find those battles, pick them, pick and choose.
So you want to more so, if you see youth or any of your friends at home, so you want to be more so a positive light in the world, not so negative. You want to be a positive, a guy with some good friends walking around, and also if you see someone here and there, even if you don't know them, you'll shoot them some help and advice.
Like even just donating to charity here and there. Actually, someone that's on the street, they're homeless. I'm not gonna look past them and think they're a bum. I'm not gonna look at them any less than a person. I'm gonna say, yo, here, if I have the money, here's $5. Here's 20. Because you can, because it's just good karma in your life.
Good karma. Yeah, so you give, it's like that. Have you seen that movie Pay It Forward? The little kid and he died. Yeah. So I was thinking about that movie. Okay. So you want to just more so acquire good karma, doing good for others, helping out as much as you can and being positive light in the world. Okay. So
exactly, because I'm expecting people to do the same for me.
Okay. That's good. Also, so now this is the final question, then we're gonna close this out. So this is the, saying it took a long time to get this question, but so what is your favorite anime? And we're gonna go into a little debate after, a quick little debate about anime. So what's your
honestly favorite? My top, I would say like the one that I've always been drawn back to. That's like always my fallback anime since day one was Dragon Ball.
Oh my god, here we go again with this.
If not, I'm not a Goku guy where I'm like he beats everybody.
Okay, who's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character? I need to hear this.
It was between from which series? So we have Dragon Ball to like Dragon Ball Super.
Any. Who's your favorite Dragon Ball overall? That series character, the whole entire.
Like series. The guy that was my go-to. Honestly, might have been Trunks. Like I had like a top 3. Like I was stuck between them. It was like Vegeta, Trunks. Because Trunks is just a swaggy guy, but he's also very worthless at times. And he was like an assassin from like Dragon Ball Super. He's a Super D's character. But those are my characters.
So do you think, like, this is what me and my cousin always talk about, so do you think that Goten and Trunks need their own side series where they're the main characters and they're actually doing something? Because I feel like literally as soon, like, Trunks, obviously if you watch Super, right? So you know what I mean, Trunks just got up to I'm not even gonna say he got up to Super Saiyan Blue, but like some, he got like
he had like a berserk form, yeah.
And obviously and there's another I think there's another side spin-off where he actually has Super Saiyan God, the red hair. Yeah, but I can't.
That's so nice. It's rubbish to me.
And obviously, Dragon Ball Hero is actually canon, so he has Super Saiyan 3 or whatever the case. But do you think, like, for me personally, I want to see Goten, Trunks, and Gohan have like the little side thing going on where they actually face.
But Gohan's side thing would only be him being Great Saiyan Man and just doing school. It wouldn't be. You forget Gohan wasn't a fighter. He doesn't like to fight. He only fought in Super because it was for the sake of the universe.
No, but you know the thing is, Gohan's supposed to be the strongest character of the show. They literally, it's an article. I have to when I find out, I'm gonna actually send the link
Oh yeah, it was yeah.
because they literally from Super Saiyan 2 going crazy. He's supposed to be like the strongest in the show, the man, because he had the most potential. He was going crazy, and they just stopped. Like it was some BS. Oh, you got Brawly as your as your wallpaper, but Brawly ain't your favorite character. Hold on, I can't hear you. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
He's there.
Oh, okay, you're good now.
Yeah, he's just a swaggy character. I'm just like, okay. But like in terms of just because once Broly learns to deal with his power and him mentally, he'll be in my top three.
But he can't though. He's abnormal.
That's what I'm saying.
He's literally born with
But
autism.
he can still learn to like cope with shit. Like he can learn to control his power a little better. He's gonna be dealing to train. He's gonna be training to control himself. He's not just gonna always be an out of control source.
So this is the last quick question. Obviously, we're gonna wrap it up. So let's say let's take so Dragon Ball Z is your favorite anime. So let's take Naruto, let's take Bleach, let's take One Piece, right? Obviously, the big three, the big new three. Obviously, Dragon Ball Z is always on top, and then those are the big three of the newer generation. So do you think One Piece? Have you watched One Piece? So do you think One Piece is better than Dragon Ball Z? And actually, really think about it, because I'm gonna say this before.
No. Honestly, in terms, no, I do think it is. In terms of this storyline wise, like it's just more character development. Like you're not just like 2 episodes later there's a fight. Like there's like they pick up characters. Like there's a story behind each character, and it makes sense. You're not just throwing a new character. Like I'm super strong for no reason.
So
okay, how did you get that strong? Why?
So this is a big one though. So is there anyone that could beat Goku? Because is there anyone who can beat Goku? Like really think about it. Not in Dragon Ball the whole series.
In what?
In any other anime. Like is there another? Because I swear
there's plenty of characters that could beat him. It's just like I can't name them because I haven't watched all the animes. But there's definitely characters that are beyond Goku. Like that's even been proven just from animes in general.
But see, the thing about that is actually it's like there's actually like a super tier list out there, and it's like so Goku's the power level. So like take 7 Deadly Sins for example. Like the 600K is I forgot the guy's name who goes buff. I forgot his name. Escanor. So Escanor can go up to 600K, right? So Krillin's base form. The thing is really messed up. So Krillin's base form is like a Miller 2, right? So just imagine his 600K full power maxed out. Krillin can just fling him.
Yeah.
And a Cyberman is still higher base level than that. So it's like, you know what I mean?
That's the thing. Each anime has their own twist to things, so you can't really like gauge it just from watching it. Like there's literally websites where they literally tested and like researched like power rankings, and they put them in order. And if you watch anime enough, obviously Goku's a broken character, but he's like outside of his own universe where he's always being saved. He's not going to be forever the strongest.
So do you think, because I didn't add the DC and the Marvel, and so, so who from DC other than Superman, and so who from DC and who from Marvel can like actually beat Goku? Because honestly, I think the Flash, like obviously in his other form, his ultimate form could beat Goku, but like who else can really do it? Like I know Martian Manhunter's out here, but like, I'm pretty sure this guy's getting waxed out, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Honestly, I haven't watched or read enough DC to really give you a true answer to that one.
Oh, okay. I don't know, for some reason
because
I think Batman gonna do it somehow. But
Batman would figure out some shit, but like also Batman's not moving at like hyper speeds like Goku's doing. And Goku could get shot 30 different times. He'd be like, "Oh, that kind of hurt." That's like, okay, cool.
Let's talk about Goku, bro. So, I thought you were gonna say your favorite anime was Naruto. I'm a little bit disappointed.
No, but like the one I've been like most hooked on was Black Clover.
Black Clover. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Black Clover, but like, does it actually get better? Because I'm on episode like 40, and I was like, bro, like
it gets better. You start to grow on characters more, and then you kind of get into the storyline, and you kind of like, I want to know what's happening now.
Yeah, because wasn't there something that going on where like this guy, he was supposed to lose, and then all of a sudden like, and then
From this anime, you can't. when it comes to anime, you can't just be having realistic expectations.
Same time.
Like you gotta know, like once it's a main character, you know there's gonna be plot armor there. Like there's been plenty of times where Naruto should have been Cade, but you know he has Kurama giving him Nine Tails chakra, so you know he kind of had a little twist superhuman strength.
But I wouldn't say that's like that. Okay, that is plot armor. That is actually hella plot armor. But also say this, like you know, Sasuke used a Shidori and you know put it through him, but then he had Kurama to actually save him. So that kind of it wasn't so plot armor in the sense of kind of like okay, at least he has something to save him. But like in a sense where like if you look at the Bleach, I don't know if you watch Bleach.
Yeah.
If you look at the Bleach ending, it's like this man just all of a sudden like shot an arrow and then into the into another dimension to hit him. So like it's kind of like it traveled to a next dimension, came back from an angle that he cannot react to. Then I'm like, bro, like
Honestly, trying to comprehend each show is just you get because when you watch so many animes, you gotta forget that it's its own universe. So when you're watching it, you gotta forget other animes. You're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. And then you're like, oh, in this universe, it makes sense. Like Goku, you know how many times Goku should have been dead? You know how many times Naruto should have been dead?
Nah, but Goku did that though.
Yeah, but he came back because of fucking plot armor and Dragon Balls.
Nah, that's it. But the thing is, that's different.
And in One Piece, Luffy should have been dead a couple times, but you know, plot armor. He has his crew. A man gets saved. He comes back stronger. Whoops a man's ass. It's every main character does the same shit.
So let me ask you this: do you hate or like animes that say this? Like, for example, Naruto, I'm gonna be Hokage. It kind of foreshadowed. Okay, we already know you're making it to the end. So you're not dying. Or it's like I'm gonna get the One Piece, or I'm gonna be the strongest person. Like you know, my hero. I'm about to be the greatest hero. Like we already know he's gonna be the greatest hero. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I'm still gonna watch it because I want to see how it turns out. But
exactly,
at the end of the day, it's like I already know what's gonna happen. Like realistically, if I just save this and just watch this 5 years later and just go watch it, like I already know he's the greatest hero. But like, so do you hate those anime or do you like watching more like Death Note animes?
I watch them. I watch Death Note. I try to like expand my variety. I'm trying to get into different ones, but like in terms of animes, I always into just like merge towards like animes where like Naruto, Dragon Ball, where there's like fight scenes, but there's a good storyline behind it.
So like Attack on Titan, something like that. Or also, you know, Shokugeki no Sama. I know that it's a cooking anime. It's a cooking anime, but if you really get into it, you actually, sometimes you feel like, you can cook up some stuff. I try to cook up a meal. I went to the kitchen, I started throwing up because, it's anime, bro. It's anime. It's anime, but anyways,
man.
But this is actually a dope conversation. I didn't even, you know what I mean? I didn't know a lot of stuff that you actually went through in your younger days because I never really asked and I didn't want to go into that, you know what I mean? Because it's like, at the same time you were going through that stuff, I was going through the same thing. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to go through and talk about this, but, still play football, you know what I mean? We still scream, yeah, you know what I mean? Back in the day.
Yeah.
I was talking with David about that the other day. I was like, I can't even do that no more. Like the bass.
No cap. Man's had no puberty going on right there. It was just straight high pitched voices. And then man said high school, said no more.
Can't even do that no more. I remember the BlackBerry days. You know what I mean?
But fam, I had the little pinch Samsung phone that was like half broken half the time. That was fucking hilarious.
But then I'm using black. Everyone. I don't know.
This man was scrolling through the BlackBerry.
BBM was popping at that time, so I was still talking. I was talking to everyone like, "Hey, what's going on?" Everyone's like,
BBM was popping
because there was a BBM app, and everyone's like, "Yo, Jordan, you have the BBM app?" I'm like, "Bro, I have BBM." Like,
man said that my phone is BBM. No, but what was funny at that time in like grade 8, you remember Kick?
Kick.
It was just an app. It was an app.
Yeah, Kick. Yo,
that shit.
No, it was KIK, right?
Yeah.
Yo, honestly, all the things are on there, bro. All the shorties are on Kick, bro.
I swear to God.
You needed that Kick, bro. You had Kick. Yeah, I swear.
Bro, you had Kick, you were a guy. Cause it wasn't even Snapchat. You got Kick, and then you got Snapchat.
Yo, and I swear, like, honestly, some man's, Ask FM, so some shorties are crying at night. That was crazy because there was a one shorty, she's like, literally, I heard her talking in the class one time. I don't know who it was. It must have been someone like I can't remember their name and stuff like that. But they're talking like, "Oh my God, I think my crush said he likes this and this and that." Because it's anonymous. So I'm like, bro, like how you even know? Like, and then there was a guy in the school from a different class from like 808 or 807. The guy was like, I was like, yo, I asked my crush a super question. Yo, I'm her type. I'm her type. The guy went to go ask her out, got rejected. I was like, bro, this does not work. But also, a quick little thing. So, remember the time, yo, we're in the class and the lights turned off, and you're like, yo, Jordan, yo, yeah. I was like, yo, this guy did me.
Yeah.
Like,
I was sitting beside you too, and I was like, Jordan, where'd you go?
But the worst part, I think it was that girl named Leanne. She was like, that girl, like, I don't know what it was. Like, she's actually a smart girl. I'm not saying she's stupid, but at that time, she was like, she was sitting right in front of me.
She was playing stupid.
No, she was sitting right in front of me. But she was like, oh my God, Jordan. She's like, oh my God, wait, where's Jordan? Like, actually, she was actually concerned. Like, she literally went to the next desk. She's like, Jordan's right here. What are you doing? She's like, I'm like, yo, that's a white guy, fam. Like, was she really lost? Like, I was confused. Like, were you really actually, like, you couldn't see me that dark?
I think she was half blind at that time, fam. I don't know. Did she need glasses? I think. But it was funny because I later said, yo, Jordan, smile. And your ass was smiling in the corner of the room.
Oh, white teeth, Nick. You can see that white teeth. I remember the days, you know what I'm saying, we walking to school, you know, see a girl with a fat body, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not gonna name the girl's name, you know what I'm saying? But see the fat body at the time, like, man, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? I remember literally, it was a group of 17 men standing, and the one girl walked by with the fat body, and she knew what she was doing too. She knew she could have went the other way, but I see her, she could have went into school, but she walked around behind the 17 men, and all the men were like, pre in the body, and she was smiling, looking back at all the man. So I was like, "That's crazy, yo."
Yeah.
Some of
the we were very simple back then. I'm not even gonna say the most. We were very simple.
Like, not some man, but the thing is, to this day, I actually know because I heard from a man who I used to work with on the night shift, but I quit nights literally last night. But the guy told me, it's like, yo, some of those shorties, because he knows the shorties, yeah, some of those shorties, yo, with 17 mans, about 10 of those mans are at least waxed. So I'm like, whoa. Man's been plotting.
No, it was dangerous in middle school because at that school, girls were really talking to niggas, and it was like, wait.
Oh, I remember, honestly, I never forget Andrea, fam. I'll never forget Andrea. Yo, my favorite person.
Fam, she was a rugby player. She was really chasing niggas.
Yo, Andrea was the funniest person. Yo, I remember I seen Andrea in 2017, fam. She was working at the No Frills, right? I used to work, cause I got fired from that No Frills. Literally, like after a year later, she working at No Frills. I seen her, I was like, no, actually no, I was working at the No Frills. I was cashing her out, and I seen her, I was like, yo, and all I seen her, yo, I'm telling you right now, you know what she was back in grade 8? Telling you, like, I'm a suburban kid now, like, changed. And I was
That's
like,
crazy.
That was crazy.
No, I was confused. I remember before she was really some aggressive shit. She was a real hoodlum. I'm joking, but now she was very.
First day out, T Grizzly turned into Aria Gun. Now turns out, you know, Hello by Adele. You know what I mean? Changed up. You know what I mean?
It's kind of crazy.
That was crazy. But anyways, you know, glad that we had this interview. You know what I mean?
Obviously
still gonna hit you up and send you to a
crazy. Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Danny Phantom, I'm going Ghost. I played my role. But anyway, I'll show you that meme, bro. I'll show you that meme. But it was a good interview. I'm post this up tomorrow. Post it tomorrow, you know what I mean? Hopefully your girlfriend won't get too much trouble, you know what I mean?
No, she wants to watch it, fam. She wants to hear this conversation, so we'll see what happens.
Alright, Brody, but I'll catch you though. We'll talk.
Alright, take it easy. Alright.
But guys, this is the end of the video. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jordan for coming through, and great podcast now, great conversations. I'm gonna have a couple more people on the podcast coming up very, very soon in the week. We be looking out for those different perspectives. The whole point of this podcast, I'm gonna break it down. The whole point of me doing these videos, these podcasts, is to get everyone to know a different perspective of life. People go through the same things, and different things, and everyone's going through something, and come together, hearing other stories. Hopefully this encourages you to not give up. People change, people do better. But anyways, guys, it's your boy JPN. Subscribe. Jordan's information will be in the description as well, so get his stuff. And it's your boy JPN. We out here.